Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new friends. Today I'm going to hang out in the kitchen. My plan is to try to dehydrate some celery. I'm kind of been on a little mission to teach myself some new skills in the kitchen. I think we are like homesteader dreamers. We are nowhere near being prepared to buy any property or anything like that unless God provides a miracle, and He can. But we're just learning new skills, and we don't really have anybody in our lives right now to teach us. And this is not something that we grew up knowing how to do, these kinds of things. So we are kind of self-teaching ourselves with YouTube and books and just anybody who wants to pour in information. So today's adventure is dehydrating celery. I watched a couple of videos on it. I will link, if I can find them, the videos that I watched. And yeah, and then I'm not sure what else we're going to do today, if we're going to do any other dehydrating. But for now, let's start this. The first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and chop off the edges. We bought these celery, I actually bought 4 stalks from Azure Standard. I will link down below my referral link for that if you want to check them out. I absolutely love it. And then I also have a few videos on our hauls from that. But I'm going to cut off the edges here. Like I said, we bought 4 stalks, but I'm just going to start with 2 and see if I have room in the dehydrators for that. And then I'm going to actually save these 2 bottom pieces and see if we can regrow them. So I'm going to cut them and then I'm going to wash them. I'm not going to wash them first because I want to make sure that I'm able to get all of it nice and clean. So I'm going to save this piece here, and then you can actually submerge it in water and regrow it. In fact, I have a couple. I'll show you how that's going. So these, you can see they've kind of shriveled up on the edges here, but it will start regrowing from itself. This one we put in after this one. And then I think once the leaves get to a certain length, we can try to replant it. So that's what I'm going to do with these also. I'm going to take the edges here that are looking kind of yucky, and I'm going to cut it off as close as I can to it, or roughly. But I'm going to save them and put them in our bag. We have a bag in the freezer with veggie odds and ends. These are organic celery, so I try to save the odds and ends from our organic vegetables for veggie stock. This is just my veggie stock bag. I've got some carrots in here. I think I might have onion. We might have a tiny bit of broccoli in there. I don't. We just toss it all the odds and ends in there. And they'll go back in the freezer. And then one of the videos I was watching, it says to blanch the celery, but she was reading up that you want to blanch the celery with baking soda. So it recommended half a teaspoon of baking soda to every cup of water. So I have added 5 teaspoons because I have about 10 cups of water in here. And then I'm going to slice my celery into thirds just to blanch it, and then get it on the stove. When it boils, I'm going to go ahead and put a wood spoon up on top of it because, as you can see, I'm cutting it pretty close. And the wooden spoon will just soak up any water instead of it boiling over. So I'm going to blanch this for about 3 minutes. I did end up blanching these for a little bit more than 3 minutes because it's mom life over here, and we had a little mom moment. My kids needed some attention, but so it is a little softer, I guess, than it's supposed to be, maybe. I don't know. So first time doing it, but hopefully it turns out okay. So I'm just going to shock these and then drain it again and then start dicing them. Okay, I'm gonna put the trays into the, this is like air fryer, slow cooker, not slow cooker, that's a lie. Air fryer, dehydrator, toaster oven, all in one thing. When we purchased it, it said it did all these things. I know sometimes there's questions about can you dehydrate in your toaster oven, but this one was specifically marked and it has a button on here to dehydrate and it goes down to a lower temperature. So I'm going to put these 3 trays in. That's all the trays that we have for it. And then set it. I'm going to set the dehydrate button. Set it for 10 hours for 135. And then I do have some left celery here from the 2 bunches. So I wasn't able to get all of them on there. I just had it on here drying after giving them that ice bath to stop the cooking process. I do have one more dehydrator, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and dice these and put these on that dehydrator, because I was gonna do apples again today, but I think just this, and then we'll get to the apples another day. Okay, so I was able to get 1, 2, I think 4 trays. This one didn't have had the last of it, so it's not a ton on there. But this one, and as you can see, I didn't lay them out like piece by piece, so I'll have to come in and move it around as it dries up. I just wasn't gonna lay it out very, very carefully. So I have that light tray, this one, so 2, 3, 4, and that gives me 2, that was the 2 stalks of celery. So I'm gonna get this on the other dehydrator we have, which is just like a no-name brand, or it has a brand name, but Ambiano I think is the brand name. We got it from Aldi's a couple of years back, and yeah, it's just like an inexpensive one that we had, and so I'm gonna go put that on there. The dials aren't even electric, they just are low, medium, and high. So I'm gonna put that on too. Okay, it is the next day, and I just went ahead and stopped this. Oh, I would say it had maybe like 2 more hours to go, because when it stops on its own with the timer, it makes a really loud beeping noise, and I didn't want that going off at 11 o'clock at night when my kids had like just fallen asleep or something, gotten into a good sleep. So I turned it off early. I am glad that I changed out this foil that I have down at the bottom, because as you can see, stuff fell through. I didn't think it would, I don't know what I was thinking when not putting the parchment paper on, but I didn't. Woo, look at that. So I would say that this celery is totally dry. So I'm going to take, well, that top brack actually hits the air, I think, more. So let's check this bottom one. This one still has some bend to it, but they're so tiny. So I don't know, is it supposed to have a bend to it, or is it just supposed to snap? Let's try one of the top ones and see if it snaps. Oh, that had a little bend to it too. I think it's done. I think these are done. So I'm gonna put these away. Let's go check out the other dehydrator too. Okay, so let's check this dehydrator. This one's not as powerful. Oh yeah, so these are still wet up on top here. So I'm gonna switch the lids around. I'm gonna rotate them and then put these back on for a few more hours. I have it on medium on this one. I'm gonna put it back on for a few more hours, like I said, and then just check it. And then here to the side, you can kind of see we put our roots, the bottom of in some water here, and then we actually have it here because there's pretty good light on this side. So let's get this going some more. And here is my celery. So this is what ended up being the 2 stalks of celery fit in this little jar. I'm gonna leave it in here for a couple of days. It looks like there isn't any moisture in it because nothing's sticking. It's all just rolling fine. But I'm gonna leave it in here for a day just to be sure before I vacuum seal the air out. And then if it's still rolling like this fine and I don't see any moisture or any clumps sticking together, I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum seal the bag up for a longer term storage. I also bought this bag of Power Greens from Costco, and it's been sitting in my refrigerator for like a day or 2. So I'm going to just open it up, put it through the salad spinner, and then put it in the dehydrator also. Hopefully that got off some of the liquid here. Actually, let me mix it a little bit more and give it another quick spin. It did already get some liquid off. You can see around the edges here. And I'm just gonna pile it on my trays. Probably gonna take a little bit longer because you can see it's already starting from being in there. Normally I put like a paper towel or a napkin in with the bag if I'm not gonna get to it right away. But we are out of napkins right now and I didn't realize it. And I guess I just thought I was gonna get to it sooner rather than later, but isn't that always the way? So I'm just gonna it is gonna shrink down considerably because they're just leaves, but I still want them to be able to have air flow through. And then I'm going to put it on the dehydrate for 4 hours at 120. Here's what they're looking like after the first 4 hours. There's still some dry spots. I started this kind of late. It is crisping up. So I don't want to stay up with it. I always start these projects way too late. I think what I'm going to do is see if there's room in the other dehydrator. I don't want to leave this on all night because it's really loud when the timer goes off. I'm going to see if there's room in my other dehydrator and see if I can add it to that. Almost 8 o'clock and I went ahead and let these go all night long. They are more than done. Let's see what that bottom tray looks like. Super crispy. So I'm going to let them rest for just a little bit while I make my coffee and just kind of get started with the day. And then I'll come back up and put these away to store. Okay, my husband's gonna try just straight green powder, and we decided maybe a quarter of a teaspoon would be good. So we're just gonna take a quarter of a teaspoon here. I even think maybe even an eighth will be more than enough, but I got a quarter of a teaspoon. We're just gonna dump it in a jelly jar. So it doesn't, honestly, I have some greens that you probably see me drink on here. And, oh, actually no, I was gonna say it doesn't mix as well, but it mixes about the same. And this is just a little jelly jar, like an 8 ounce. Bottoms up. You can tell us what it tastes like, just straight greens. Well, I mean, don't taste it, just fork it down.
Spinach.
Wish I knew what it tasted like. I mean, none left.
It's because that was a dinosaur.
Well,
it's good. It actually tastes, it's pretty smooth, actually.
Good, good, good. Now we have our own homemade greens. So, ta-da! Thanks so much for hanging out in the kitchen with me today and dehydrating and trying new things. Let me know if you make your own green powders or if it was at least entertaining to you. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, maybe consider subscribing and joining my little YouTube family. And if you are already a subscriber, let us know down below what videos you like the most. And thanks for sticking around with us. We appreciate it so, so much.